new armor, new tools, new blocks, and many more things found inside the Toycat's Toolkit add-on. And today, I'm gonna be making a full guide on that one add-on. If only I knew what any of that stuff meant. Only one way to find out. Magic cloud. That is definitely something. I'll use this to mark spawn so we can come back to it and get to working in a sec. Ooh. What a funky looking block. But not as funky as the block of Endscree. Oh my. Oh my. Why can't this be an actual Minecraft? Why is this only add-on specific? I like this. Oh my goodness. What am I looking at? So if I have one of these out, then yo, it really is a multi-tool. I like that. I could probably play with this add-on all day, honestly. Yeah, I have to learn about this, but to be fair, I could really learn about this all day. What was that? Sheep, hold still. Oh. Well then, I'm gonna just leave that in the chest and pretend I didn't see it. Oh, and then I think like, yeah, these are pretty much the equivalent to arrows and stuff, I think. Sorry, cow, I have to do this. Oh, you lived. Well, we could try it with this one now. What did that do? I'm a little confused with that, but okay. It's clear there's a lot of things I don't know about with this one add-on, and I'm probably gonna have to learn a lot of it as I go, but I think we could do that. We could do that. I'm sorry, I can't keep, what is this? I plated 2 shields together and now I'm using it as a mob. Sheep, stop, no, fine, you can keep that one. I'll keep these other 3 I have. Okay, unless I've missed something, I'm pretty sure this is everything found inside the add-on. I got a feel I'm missing something, but at least as of right now, this is all I can find. Oop, I did miss something. Endscree ore. I have a feeling we're gonna have to go to the end. But something that's really gonna help us out is surprisingly Toycat's Toolkit guidebook. This is the definition of what I actually needed. Multi-tools, cage, carriers, all the stuff that I actually need to figure out how to use is like located right here. Okay, I think I mostly get it. I think I mostly get it. A lot of this stuff is based on combat-based things, and most of it, or actually a lot of it, is based in the end. So I guess to put it simply, a lot of this is the end update we've always wanted. Just gets me a little curious now. It said this ore was pretty close to the bottom. Maybe not here. Oh, it is here. Yeah, okay, so you find the ore here, and I assume that's also on the outer end islands? Yep, okay, I think I know where I want to go with this guide. I think I know. So what I'm considering doing is still having the guide in the overworld, just for the sake of simplicity and the fact that, you know, you spawn in the overworld, but make it feel like you're in the end islands. I do think sooner or later we will go to the end of this guide, but I think it would be pretty stylish to actually be something similar to that in the overworld. And I think, yeah, this will be high enough. And now it's just a matter of making most of these end islands look like end islands. Or, wait a minute. What am I doing? I don't even need to do this. There's a sneaky thing I like doing every now and then that keeps me from having to do as much work. Not because I'm lazy, but just because I want things to feel more accurate. Give me one of these. I'll land. Save. Come with me. Get this thing placed down and ready to roll. There we go. I'll just mark it out with something for now. I'll change that later. And since a lot of this is going to be based in the end and like with end-based things and combat-based things, we might as well keep it with the theme of using like end-specific blocks. You know, the more I think about this, the less I like the idea of doing it basically like an end. Also considering the fact that this entire add-on is mainly focused on what looks to be like weapons and tools and things as opposed to just things inside the end. You know, that's fine. I got a better idea. Gotta get this out of the way real quick. Oh, that was so disappointing. Fine, I'll do it the boring way. Are you happy now? I don't know who I'm asking, but am I happy now? But anyways, the idea I kind of had was sort of like based on those like, I don't know what they were called. The snapshot things that weren't officially snapshots where you could test out like all the new combat-based things. Think of something similar to what we saw with like those tutorial worlds from Console Edition, as well as maybe like those battle minigames from Console Edition also. That's kind of where my mind is leading towards right now, and all we have to do is just make that thing entirely possible. Well, it is possible, but make it happen. Bring my idea into existence. And we're still going to do the traditional things where you like walk down a hallway or walk down something and then, you know, get shown off how to do things and how things work and things like that. But I guess I want to have a pretty decently sized like starting area too. Decently sized enough to show off everything, but not too big enough to actually overshadow the rest of the entire guide. And now we have pretty much most of the spawn area done. Well, okay, not most of it. We still have all this empty space we gotta fill in, but doesn't it feel like those old, like, tutorial world or battle minigames or, like, the combat snapshot things? Doesn't it feel like that? I don't know. I'm starting to get that vibe a little bit, but what we need to do now, fill this entire place in and actually finally get started on the guide part of this guide world. Also, yes, this wall is intentionally very bland and very blank. I think that's where I want to have, like, the main, like, title sequence of this entire guide over there, and I'll probably do that later. Because now what we can do is a whole bunch of things which could be related to this whole add-on stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure these things work pretty well with target blocks. I think. Let's just make sure. Okay. Not that one. All right, let's try it again with maybe the Scust one. Maybe that'll be better. Nope, that is not too much better, but we can try. Can we? All right, there probably is a bunch of things I could do related to a bunch of this stuff. Like, this thing can actually pick up mob spawners, and other things can do other things. Yeah, this is kind of tricky to think. Maybe trying to do this all on camera might be just hard for my brain to start thinking and everything like that. So after doing most of the start bit off camera, I may have had a little bit too much fun right here, didn't I? Yeah, I guess because I was going for the console tutorial world and minigame world vibe thing, I did really try having as many of those different types of things inside here as possible for probably no reason, let's be honest. Like, he's probably not going to be using any of this or anything like that, but I guess if he gives the world download to his subscribers, then I guess they could play around with this. I mean, I did hide pretty much every single mob head across the entirety of this, like, starting area, so I guess there is a reason to actually play this as opposed to just, like, learning everything about, like, what this add-on has. But also, I did, of course, add the little jingle thing at the beginning. Yeah, it's nothing too serious, but it is still pretty fun to listen to. There's probably a couple other things I could do at the start, but I think now we should actually get on to the actual part of this entire guide world. The main reason why I'm working on this world. And again, if I am going to stick with the tutorial vibe, I might as well make it feel like that as we go throughout this entire thing. But while making things feel just a little bit more controlled and less, free play, if you know what I mean. Maybe some of these outer walls can be extended to an extent. Just make everything feel just like connected rather than just like one piece on top of the other on top of the other. Maybe with things like this, like just a small waterfall with the walls continuing going on and just other details like this. Why am I in such a buildy mood for this guide world? I have no idea. I have no idea. But okay, speaking of the guide thing, we gotta focus on the guide thing and less about the building right now. I believe a lot of this end screen stuff can obviously only be gotten from the end, and I kind of want to do the end stuff all together. So what we should probably do is the multi-tools first. There's things we could do that's not end related that we could do first, because I want to do all the end stuff like after everything else. And after nearly finishing up the multi-tool thing, I just realized a more appropriate way I'm starting would have been with the Toolkit guidebook. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Just a little structure block magic, and we should be able to move things around. Perfect. Flawless. Didn't realize you could craft it until now. Let's finish up the multi-tool area. And I'm pretty sure this section's pretty much done. One thing I didn't actually notice is the fact that you can't put any, like, combat-specific enchantments on these things, other than just, like, tool-specific things like what you see here. So any smite or any sharpness or anything, like you can put on an axe, you can't put it on there, but in exchange, I think this is like a very worthwhile tool if you do use this add-on, but we can worry about other different types of things inside this add-on as we worry about the next section. What should be the next section? That's the question. Maybe heavy crossbow. But first off, we gotta do a little bit more building. Okay, maybe a bit more than a bit. But I do have the next couple of areas actually planned out pretty well, at least inside my head, but this arrow or crossbow thing seems to be grouped best with all these new types of arrows and things like that, so we're probably going to do all of that together right here. First things first, gotta actually show off how you can craft all these things. Alright, we got all three of these, we got this one, now how do we show how to use it? I think the ore one's gonna be pretty easy to show off, because maybe we could have like a platform just full of ores on top of it. Okay, this is more of a cube than a pile, but still the idea stands, and yo, I didn't even realize it was that good. That was amazing. Okay, I might need to make this pile a bit bigger then. And we'll take all these. It will take all these out. That is incredible. I might have just found my new favorite thing inside this add-on so far. Gust bolt, I assume it does what I... Yep, it does. And it gives you slow falling so you don't die. That is very, very handy. Extraordinarily handy. And then the blast bolt, same thing as before. It kind of blows things up. If you hit it, like that. So I think that's pretty much all I have to do for that. Now we can move on to the next thing, which I kind of want to be the cage carrier. So maybe what we could do, make this look like, I guess, like a larger scale dungeon in some way. And I think I know how to go about doing that. Okay, this wasn't exactly how I was expecting this to go, but I can still work with this. So I'll probably just scatter a few mob spawners and other spawners around the place, including, yes, vaults. You can actually, like, pick up vaults. And the way you actually pick up any of these, just place a mossy cobble on top, pick it up using that, and then place it down wherever you want. And now just a few manners of actually showing how to do that and how to craft it and everything like that. And yeah, I think this is enough to get the point across with the cage carriers and actually how to use them. And also, I couldn't help myself. I did more building in between that. I can't help myself. I'm just in a really building mood today. But also, in between that, I did start working on this next area where I could actually show off, what were they called again? Cloud pellets, which are a pretty interesting thing because you could actually just place them anywhere, like literally anywhere, without even needing like to place it on a block. And I'm gonna use that to actually make Toycat have to pretty much build his platform across to get to this one end, which he'll actually be able to do. I just hope it's obvious enough, and I'm pretty sure it's obvious enough. And yeah, I think this area should be enough to actually explain what they are. So let's assume you bridge across using the pellets, and you come over here to where you can actually make a cloud capsule, which I believe all you need to do is brew them inside of a brewing stand. Yep, just like that. Just have a pellet brewed into some water bottles, and then you'll eventually get yourself a few cloud capsules. And a cloud capsule is just like a cloud pellet, but instead you can place 3x3 areas instead of 1x1s. And I kind of want to use that to try bridging from one end of this area to the other in a building that looks almost exactly like this. But just to save us a little bit of time. Perfect. Just got to clean up a few of these rough edges around the place. Bring this wall down by an extra 20 or so blocks. Now this is absolutely perfect. Except for one thing. I was gonna jump straight into working on the end related stuff until I realized I forgot something. This shield skiff. I completely forgot about that. A thing that acts like a boat, but can go upwards, unlike a boat. But it's fine. I think we can salvage this and maybe, like, loop ourselves back around into this building somehow for the end stuff. First things first, we gotta do a little bit of clearing, and then just a little bit of redesigning. And now everything with the shield skiff is completely in place. And man, these things are fast. And I mean, like, really fast. Not so much fast in the water because, yeah, this is like top speed I can manage to get right now. But you can at least go up water a little bit. At least you can go up water. When it's really fast is when we go on ice. Because, take a look at this. I got some obstacles in the way because we can't go up and down blocks. But even with that, look at this. Look at how fast this is. Look, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like, it's so unbelievably quick. And it's so unbelievably, like... Why would you ever use a boat again? Why would you ever use a boat again if you have this add-on? Also, even though this was like a bit of an overlook with the shield skiff and stuff, but I think the end stuff at the very end has actually been made kind of good overall in terms of like the design, because now what I could kind of see us doing is like us having the end bit going all the way around, looping itself right back to the start. That would be so cool. That'd be so cool. But there is quite a lot of end stuff we are going to have to worry about, isn't there? So we got to get to work on this by starting to mine out an area using this this colossal pickaxe, which mines out a 3x3 area. Yes, I know I could use commands, but come on. If you had something like this, wouldn't you want to at least use it a little bit? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this will be big enough. And just to make it feel as close to an end as possible, I'm considering having like the outskirts of the walls being nothing but black concrete. And then we'll do a whole bunch of like traditional end style things, like maybe end cities or like end islands or things like that. Man, it is so dark in here. But that's kind of the point. But now what we could do is probably start laying out some paths for this entire end bit. But then I think the main bit could be something that resembles something that looks like an end city. What that'll look like in the end, I don't know what an end city looks like right now in my mind. I also can't picture it right now. But I refuse to look anything up and just go off of memory for whatever reason. And while I did tweak a few things here or there, the idea was still relatively the same, where we go inside an end city like thing, showing off every single thing related to the end screen, related to the armor, and related to everything else like that. And there was a lot of things related to end screen that I didn't even realize about, such as the fact that, did you know you could get like speed and jump boosts if you're walking on like end related blocks or something like that? Or if you are below Y0, why is this here? If you are below Y0, then you actually get night vision while wearing the helmet. That is such a cool detail. That is such an incredibly cool detail. And something else that's a pretty cool detail is the fact that I could use this little thing to get myself right out, and hopefully Toycat will get that before falling down there. And if not, just in case of emergencies, I did put this here. But now the only thing I have to do left is related to the tools, and every single one of these tools, like we mentioned, can mine a 3x3 area. Probably not bedrock, nope. But I still think I have a fun way in actually showing this off. But first up, like always, I actually show off how I actually crafted and things like that. And all I do is make a 3x3 area completely made of bedrock, just because, you know, you can't mine through bedrock, even with the end screen stuff. And then just start filling it in with like multiple layers of different blocks you could actually mine out. Then I think from here, all we really need to do is like just clean up this area, build up a little room, and then I think we are done. And just like that, the entirety of the Toykat's tool guide is completely and fully done. I think. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. And in the case you are interested in seeing me play around with this add-on more, then I will be making a mini-series for members only. So in the case you want to see that, then become a member, join there, see what shenanigans I come up with there. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.